Ronda Rousey, that's a big fight for you. What do you think about her as an opponent? What are you training, obviously, against the armbar? What are you going to do to prevent being just another victim of that?
Another victim. Well, I think that Ronda Rousey has proven to be a phenomenal athlete. I mean, she made it to the Olympics and got a medal there. So there's that commitment, and obviously she's going to have strength and power to go along with that, because you don't get there by just kind of coasting through. So I'm expecting her to come in strong and put up a tough fight. But, also every fight she's had, she really has kind of fought the same style. And it's smart because that's what she's good at. But it's also a little bit predictable. And so I've pretty much just taken my camp, working with my coach, Adam Zuchek, down at Zuma in Victoria. And then worked with, brought in other people and worked with Greg Jackson and the team down there. And really just come up with a good game plan that's suited to me, and not worry so much about what Ronda's going to do, because you have to fight your fight.
Yeah, well, you talked a lot about how you really don't think she's been tested on the feet, and that's where you kind of want to exploit her game. Is that what you're basically looking to do, is trying to test her chin on this one and see if she can take a hit?
Yeah, it's definitely not a surprise that I'm going to want to keep it standing and she's going to want to take it to the ground, just on paper, based on I have a lot of knockouts and she clearly has a lot of arm bars. And that's both of our comfort zones. So it's going to be who can do that better. And I'm really sure that I'm going to be able to do that substantially better.
How impressed were you with her last win? A lot of talk coming in about who's she really beaten, who she fought. That was a good win for her. How impressed were you with that fight?
She had great fights coming up to that fight. Really smart opponent picks and kind of developing her a little bit as a fighter. And I think that's important. That's what a manager and a trainer should do, is they should get you the right fights at the right time. And I also think that Ronda knew that I'm a tougher fight than Misha. And that's why she wanted the Misha fight first, because stylistically she had that confidence that with her judo, she was going to be able to out-judo, out-grapple Misha, where that's her strength as well. So I definitely am impressed with what she did, because she went in and executed her game plan and did what she wanted to do. And that's not easy when someone else is trying to do the opposite.
How does it make you feel when you see her on the cover of magazines and she's become this darling of mixed martial arts? And you're the former champ. I mean, you had the belt, and it's like you didn't get the same sort of hype. Does it kind of piss you off a little bit? And going into that fight, you really want to make a point that, hey, I'm still here. I'm still the ex-champ. I'm still one of the most talented female fighters out there.
Absolutely. It's different now that Zuffa's involved as well. And Zuffa has a big promotional background, and they really push fighters and kind of direct fighters into where their niche is. And Ronda has made noise. She's come on the scene, and she's really pushed that side of herself, which I'm not comfortable doing. And so I understand that I'm not going to be pushed in the same way that Ronda is, just because we are different personalities, we are different athletes,
right,
and we kind of present ourselves differently. But I definitely want to get recognized for what I do and what I've done in the sport to get to this point, and would love to get that extra coverage and some of the bigger things.
For sure.
Can we talk about her trash talking? She's saying she doesn't like Kim Kardashian because she's only famous for a sex tape and she's not a good role model for girls. But then Misha Tate went and called out Ronda Rousey, saying, well, she posed nude for ESPN magazine and she's a hypocrite. Do you think, one, this trash talking is helping women's MMA, and what do you think of Kim Kardashian?
I don't actually know a lot about Kim Kardashian. I actually didn't know she had a sex tape until I heard that she had a sex tape. So I didn't know her for that. So I didn't actually think she was all that trashy. And I don't know if she is. I don't know her as a person. When it comes to trash talk, I think that there is a time and a place. I think sometimes what Ronda says is almost too uncensored. I think that if Ronda wants to be a role model and she's saying, well, Kim Kardashian shouldn't be a role model because she's doing this and this and this, and I don't want my daughter looking up to that, I think it's almost the same with some of what she's saying. Do you want your daughter looking up to someone who says things like that? So I think it's a really fine line and a fine balance. You should always speak your mind, but also keep in mind who's listening. And I don't know if Ronda always does that. It's kind of gotten away from her a couple times. She had to rein it in. For Misha, I don't know how you can really call Ronda a hypocrite. I think the ESPN body issue is something different than just posing nude or posing for Playboy. And I would never pose nude for Playboy or anything like that. And I don't know if I would for ESPN body issue either. But if that offer came in, I mean, it's a huge opportunity and it's really classy. It's about athletes and their purest form, not about them being naked.
Do you see yourself as a role model for young female fighters?
I absolutely do. And I've always said, I try and be as genuine as possible. And I feel like I'm somewhat of a nice person. I don't know if people get that or not. But I'm not into kind of creating a character that's not me. I want people to know who I am as opposed to who I'm pretending to be.
She's called you out on Twitter a few times. Does she get under your skin a little bit?
No.
No? You just kind of laugh it off?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's entertainment. And I know that that's how Ronda had pushed the Misha fight, and it worked really well for her. But I think that I'm a different person. Misha got emotionally involved there. And she would say line after line, trying to get back at Ronda. And Ronda just always won the exchanges of words. And I'm not a strong talker when it comes to talking trash. I just kind of sound stupid because I'm like, you suck. I don't like you. It's not really in my nature. So, yeah.
There have been a handful of women's bouts headlining Strikeforce events, and they've all done fairly well, but they've all been sort of central, or been based upon a really prominent grudge between the fighters. Do you think that to make female fighting successful, it has to be sort of pushed on creating characters and grudge matches, or that just by putting on good fights and sort of showing that women's MMA is as entertaining, if not more so at times, than men's MMA, you can continue to grow the sport?
Every fight needs to have a storyline or a purpose, especially when right now every fight that's shown, every women's fight that happens really matters. The fight itself matters, leading up to the fight matters, and it does need to have a storyline. I mean, it might not be the same storyline, and I think that's important because you want to have a variety. If every fight was like, I hate you, and I hate you, it's that same talk back and forth all the time. So I think that the fight with Ronda myself is more about Ronda's the new champ. She's, the phenomena that came on the scene and, took over, women in the sport. And I'm kind of that person who's the quieter one who has been the champion and who's been stepped over, and I'm kind of on that way back. And I think that's how I want to sell the fight, at least, that I'm coming in, as a 5-1 underdog, which is crazy. I'm the former champion. How can you say that when Ronda's literally had